Mike Reiss, we were talking about Ramondre Stevenson. He's fumbled in 4 consecutive games, and they didn't take him out. I guess you could make the argument they can take him out. It's Belichick would have. What's your take on Stevenson, and what's your opinion of what they should be doing?
So after he fumbled, I felt like they took him out for a series and then put him back in. So we got 4 games, 1 fumble in each game. It's a difference in the coaching style, right? It made me think of Stephen Ridley when Belichick was here. I remember he sat him down and would say that when you have the ball in your hands, you carry with you the fate of the entire team. This is a different approach. The idea of I'm going to go over, talk to him. I know, and almost empower the player. And it's not working. So I think I asked Gerard Mayo after the game, specific more to the defense and some of the problems they're having. If the problems keep happening, do you need to take the player off the field so they no longer have the opportunity to make the mistake? And if I remember correctly, guys, he said, that's something he does have to consider. So we'll see if that changes going forward.
Mike, how much of this is that Ramondre is their top offensive weapon, and to take him off the field for an extended period of time will really damage what they're trying to do?
I don't think that's it, John, because I think he's damaging what they're trying to do by not holding onto the ball. So I don't look at it that way. And in fact, if you look at yesterday's game, I'd say Antonio Gibson probably played better than Ramondre in the game. So to me, that's not it as much as just a difference in coaching philosophy, on how to handle a player who's fumbling.
All right. And you'll notice that Reiss and I had the same opinion. Go ahead, Hardy.
But that's just it. You get it's a whole new game, and not just with the players, but the coaching, but the expectations of the team. So yes, while the MO before would have been to sit him down and to not play him anymore, they don't have that luxury. If he's the only guy who can provide offense, then what do you do? He's this is the way I put it earlier, Mike. He's not the reason why you lost that game yesterday, but Ramondre Stevenson is the reason why you won one game this year. So how do you sit that guy down?
I think it's I get your point, and it's not it's fair. I think you still have Antonio Gibson, you have JaMychal Hasty, you have Kevin Harris on the practice squad, and I think when going back to when Bill Belichick was coach, when he made those decisions, sometimes you're making the decision. You are giving your team a lesser chance to win, but you're making a greater statement to help the bigger picture, if that makes sense. So it's balancing the short-term view. What gives us the best chance to win this game? But I also have to have a coaching philosophy. And I think Belichick used to use the terminology when it gets below the line. Like if you can't hold on to the ball, you are below the line. Yeah, you might be our best back. But if you can't hold on to the ball, I'm making a statement to you and the rest of the team that if this happens, I can't trust you to put you on the field.
You mentioned the bigger picture, Mike. Let's focus on that for a second. On offense, let's focus on the bigger picture. They had 2 offensive linemen get hurt yesterday. Jacoby Brissett got sacked 6 more times. I saw a report from Ian Rappaport earlier in the day that, Drake May's not ready to play yet. They're not ready to put him on the field yet. And Brissett is getting beaten up. There were a couple of times he went down. I didn't think he'd get back up yesterday. What can Gerard Mayo say to raise the spirits of the offensive side of the football? Where does the offense go from here?
Oh, man. What can he say? I mean, just keep plugging, right? I mean, you get the Dolphins coming in next, and it's, I guess, a better matchup, John, than the 49ers. I mean, that looked like a total mismatch. I never felt like the outcome was in doubt. I think this is a game they can win and maybe show them some of the good plays that they've had. Look, the first drive of the game, I get the game book here and I'm standing here in the airport, so it's going to take me a second to flip it. It's not like a total disaster, John. I mean, look at the first drive. I mean, they get the ball and they're at their own 30 and they drive to the 49ers 41, and it's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9 plays, so it's not like they're getting the ball and it's 3 and out, 3 and out. So they can move the ball. I just think they're so limited in no explosive plays. So I think they have to play a certain style. So I guess what he can do, John, to answer your question, to lift their spirits, stop beating yourself, and that'll give us a chance to at least compete and maybe have a chance to win.
I know, this team's not going to make the playoffs, and, it's really about Drake May and the development of young players and everything, but how important is next weekend's game against Miami at home with, who knows the quarterback for Miami?
Well, I think it's important, Fred, because I think this is one of the winnable games for them.
Right.
Like, look at the schedule, and if they play like they did yesterday, when really, look, the 49ers were probably going to win anyway, but to me, the most disappointing part of the game is that the Patriots self-destructed in the first half. Lost fumble, pick six, and not being able to convert a 4th and 1 on what looked like a major blocking breakdown. Those are 3 turnovers. So before you even talk about anything the 49ers did, and yeah, Fred Warner made a great play on the interception, but I think Jacoby Brissett also acknowledged he could have thrown a better ball. But stop beating yourself. And Fred, if they go do that again against the Dolphins, I think, to your point, like, it's important to not have that happen at home in a game that you have a chance to win when there's so few of those on your schedule when you look at it right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for Mayo, it's important, and for the rest of the season, not necessarily for the organization moving forward, but I think for the rest of this season, for the young players that you have re-signed and the kids that you're developing, that would be a big win for them. And finally, they decided not to play May yesterday. I don't have an opinion on it, but it was a similar situation to what was happening with the Jets. What's your thoughts, and what did you hear why not play May yesterday?
Yeah, only what Gerard Mayo said after the game, that he didn't consider it. And as I thought to the reasons why, it might have been as simple as you're in that situation and there's one Nick Bosa, right? When Bosa can pin his ears back, and we saw what could happen. I actually thought leading up to that point, like the DeMontre Jacobs, the left tackle, he actually hung in there okay up till the end when it was obvious what the Patriots were doing, and Jacoby was sitting back there almost like a sitting duck. So my thought was probably, let's keep the kid out of harm's way. But I don't know, Fred, if that's exactly what the mindset was to not put him in there.
Yeah. Well, listen, thanks so much for coming on with us. Go home and do what you got to do. Thanks. I know it's been a busy trip and a long day. Real quick, Zolak thinks that stadium's a dump. Do you?
I sort of liked it. I don't know why he thought that. I thought, it opened in 2014, and it's a little bit off the, it's in Santa Clara, Fred. Like, so I remember going to Candlestick, and when you were in the press box, you'd have to walk through the stands to get down to like the lower level to get to the press conferences. To me, that was sort of as much history as there was there. That was sort of more of, I don't want to use the word dump, but that was not a modern updated stadium. This had a lot of modern amenities. I thought it was sort of nice.
All right. Well, there you go. Mike Reiss. Check him out all week on ESPN. We love talking to you. Thanks so much for the time.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.